Hi guys, in this video I'm going to talk about the old firmware that you have on your quad. For me, I know that this quad has an old version of Alien Flight F1 firmware on this, and it can be used on the Clean Flight, but with Clean Flight and Betaflight now being upgraded to new version, the old firmware on this cannot be recognized with the new upgraded Clean Flight or Betaflight. It can still be recognized in the old version of Clean Flight. The problem is that you have to download the old version of Clean Flight and install that on your PC before it works. Let me show you what I mean. So on the screen, this is the new version of Clean Flight. So if I load this and I try to connect, you're going to see this warning pops up. You can see that it is telling you to install to the new version or to install the old version of Clean Flight, and you can still use it. And then let me close this and I'll open up Betaflight. It's the same thing. If you connect, it says non-Clean Flight for Betaflight firmware is not supported except for CLI mode. So if you have the new version of Betaflight and Clean Flight, you can't actually connect to this quad. So if you have the old Clean Flight installed, you can connect to the configurator on the board itself. So now the question is, do you really need to flash to the newer version, or do you just leave it as it is? My answer to you is that if this was said a few months ago, I would say no need to flash it to the new version. But since then, I have different experience with flashing and quad and understanding of Betaflight and P.I.Ds. I now come to the conclusion that yes, you should flash to the newer version, because all the previous firmware, especially in this hobby, was really work in progress. So the developer, I think is Boris, and his group keeps on improving the Betaflight and Clean Flight firmware. So by doing that, they will keep on improving the flight characteristic of a quad, and they keep on fine-tuning or fine adjusting the motors in terms of movement. So if you have the latest one, you'll probably be able to have a smoother flight with your quad. So if you decide to stay with the old version, then by all means do that, and I'll put a link down below for you to watch that particular video, and then you can do that. Otherwise, I suggest to you that you flash your firmware with the new one. So let me disconnect this and shut this down and open up Betaflight, and I go to before I go to firmware flasher, I need to check the version of the Clean Flight on my quad. So I need to connect, although this one doesn't work, but the CLI works. So you can type in version. So you can see this is Clean Flight / Alien Flight F1. And so when you look for your new firmware, it has to be Alien Flight F1. So let me disconnect this. The other thing that you need to know before you flash is, I open up the old Clean Flight, connect. The other thing that you know before you reflash is you look at the port and see which one is connected to your receiver, so that when you reflash you can come back to this one and then adjust that accordingly. Or the other way that you can do is you can use the dump version. Just type in dump on your CLI and then you will come up with all the settings. You can actually save all this in a text file, and after that you put it back, paste, and then you save. Then you have all the settings, so you don't really have to remember what to do when you what sort of settings that you had previously, including the ports. So you can put this back and then you're all set with the new firmware. But because I don't really have anything specific set on this quad, I only need to know the ports. So serial RX is in UART2. Configuration, I don't need this. I just need to change this motor stop later on. But what I also need to know is the board orientation. This one is pointed accordingly to the front, so there's no alignment issues, so that's fine. So all the fail-safe thing I can reset that very easily after that, after I reflash. P.I.D tuning, I don't really care about that one. Receiver modes, I can set this up later. So all I need to do is to disconnect, close this, go to Betaflight, and go to firmware flasher. Hopefully this one can flash without the boot pin shorting procedure. So I've already put in Alien Flight F1 and choose a firmware. I will choose the latest one, which is this one. So I'll load the firmware online. So if this one doesn't require the shorting out of the boot pads or pressing a boot button, it will flash if I click flash. So let me try this. Yes, it seems to work, so I don't need to short any boot pads. So it says successful, and I hope I've done this correctly. And welcome. Yes, so I've done this correctly, so it works. So now what I need to do is I need to go to ports. I need to go to UART2. It's already set up for me, and the serial RX on UART2, that's fine. So the other thing that you need to know is the brush version of the motors. You need to select that. The motor stop, don't spin, yes, it's all there. The board orientation is correct. Everything I'll leave as per settings. Even the P.I.D's tunings, I will leave it as the stock P.I.D's. This may be too high, but I'll deal with that later. Receiver, I'll set this up later. So I'll go and grab my transmitter and I'll come back. This is DSM2. So let me check. Yes, this is set as DSM2, that's fine. So I'll go and get my transmitter and I'll connect and see what happens. So hi guys, I'm back with my transmitter. So I just need to turn this on. As you can see, the flashing doesn't affect the bind of the receiver with the transmitter. So the throttle is fine, yaw is not correct. So obviously the channel mapping is not correct. So what I need to do is I need to change this to spectrum. Press save. See whether it's working or still not correct. So this is still wrong. So I need to check the channel map of my transmitter mixer. So TAER. So TAER. So try to disconnect and reconnect. Still something wrong. Let me see. AETR, TAER. Or is it TARE? Okay, let me try another thing. Disconnect. Let me try the latest version of Clean Flight. Connect. Receiver. Same problem. Alright, what I'll do is I need to go back to my previous video and I'll have a look at it and I'll come back. Just disconnect. I'm back. So I have to go and have a look at my old video of setting up this Q100. So anyway, I found a problem with the channels not mapping correctly. So the problem is actually the receiver settings. So if you go to configuration, you can see that this is serial based receiver, but it's under spectrum 2048. But the receiver is actually spectrum, I think 1024, which is the DSM2. So you need to choose this one, then save and reboot. So now let me go back to the receiver screen. You can see now that it's responding correctly. And roll. So this is TAER 1234, that's fine, save. So see that? Throttle is between 1000 and 2000, that's fine. So this, the pitch and roll has to be around 1500, and the yaw has to be around 1500. So the roll and the pitch seems to be okay, but it seems to be fluctuating around 2 units. So we need to set the RC band and then the to 2, and the yaw is about 3, that band. So just save. So we got that set up now. So let's go to mode. At range, I'm not sure where my auxiliary one is. Okay, this one. So I need this to arm. So you need to set this over there. Okay, that's fine. Save. So let's do angle, horizon. So auxiliary 2. I can't remember which switch that I've set up. Okay, this one. So angle is first position, second position is horizon, third position is acro. So save that. So now we got this. So let's save. So the next thing that I need to do is to recalibrate the accelerometer. Go to configuration, save and boot. So this is fine, moving fine, ports, that's fine, configuration, brushed, this one off, motor start, disarm, yes that's correct. Port orientation is fine, I'm leaving all these things stock, save and reboot. We go fail safe, stage 2 drop, that's fine. P.I.D tunings, I'll leave it as the stock for this flight control board, but I'm going to come back and adjust that next time. Receiver is working fine now. Before I leave the receiver configuration, you need to have this aileron and rudder reverse. So that's how the DSM receiver works. So just remember that. The mods I've already done. So let me quickly talk about the Betaflight and connection. So you have the receiver, so the ports is here. So we have the ports correctly done, and then receiver is correctly connected to the transmitter. That's fine. The P.I.D tunings, you don't have to bother about this at this stage. I'm going to talk about that in other videos. So all these other things you really don't need to worry about. So that's all for the setup. So let's now disconnect. I'm going to connect the battery, and then let's just test the arming. Okay, the battery is now connected. So let's arm this. So it works. So I suggest that you actually reflash your old firmware on your flight control board to the latest version, so that you don't have to worry about installing the all clean flight. So hope you guys like this video. Please like and subscribe to my channel for more videos. Until next time, cheers.